Yesterday was one of those days that was like so unproductive that it actually risks threatening the productivity levels of today, even though really today has no other reason not to be productive, you know? Kind of worsened by the fact it's sandwiched between like Saturday is going to be unproductive, Sunday is most likely going to be unproductive. I'm not going to get any work done on Monday, and Wednesday is unlikely to get any serious work done. So it's like, what's the point? That's the like twinge in the back of my mind, but we're getting over it. We're going on our walk, we're trying to refresh a little noggin and trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for the next big thing, you know. So we're going back to Nottingham this weekend, and I'm taking my laptop, so I've only got my laptop with me, but that doesn't mean I can't, like I can still do everything I want to do. I think my laptop's fully set up now. And if it isn't, all I need is an email, is internet, you know, to set everything up. It's not like I need Atlas anymore. So that's all right. But yeah, I've got to figure out like what tasks are worth doing today, and what tasks are worth like kind of sidelining. Let's go this way. Sidelining and doing on my laptop at the weekend and all that kind of stuff. Well, the biggest thing I'm trying to focus on is at the moment everything I'm doing kind of feels very Saga based. This microservice is basically just a glorified Saga, and I'm trying to figure out if the next little bit, which is basically, oh my god, this guy's got so many dogs. That guy literally has 6 or 7 dogs. Oh, that's dope. It must be a dog walker. I thought about getting into that as like a part-time thing, being like, yeah, I could walk some dogs. I go for 2 walks a day already, so I need to get my own dog, is what I need to do. But yeah, so like the next thing is effectively just another Saga, and I'm trying to figure out if I actually need to store any logic in like a database at any point here, or if I can just store it in Sagas. But yeah, so I feel like I have to, because I feel like some of this data is going to have to be queryable, and you can't really query Saga databases. Not really, no, you shouldn't ever query a Saga database. So I'm going to have to, but it kind of feels like at the moment it's just a replication of the Saga. It kind of feels pointless. So, but I think what the next bit I need to do is fire a message, consume a message that's being triggered from the repository service, and then use that to kick off another Saga in this same microservice, but then use its own internal events, probably. It gets complicated because of like how it all gets correlated. One microservice cares about the repository ID, and the other one cares about the what I'm going to call candidates, candidate ID, which is a little bit different. So yeah, it's complicated, but I think I'm going to do that today instead of other stuff. But I've got that, my blog, which I'm trying to write and struggling to write. I've got that, my blog, and general research stuff to do, and I've got an application I can play with. I've kind of got too many things to dip in and out of, and nothing to like get stuck into, you know. So I might actually make a semi-significant start on that application thing this weekend, probably. Yeah. When I say that, what I mean is I've got 4 things I need to get my teeth stuck into, but because I've lost momentum, none of them feel very appealing. And they're all basically start new stuff, you know? All of them, yeah, literally every single one of them is starting something new, which isn't the kind of, it's kind of the thing you need momentum for, and I don't have any momentum. That's what I mean by that. And none of them are particularly appealing. None of them are like, oh, that sounds exciting. So at the networking thing I went to on Wednesday, which I didn't particularly enjoy, that was the thing where someone was like, yeah, the best thing about running your own business is you get to be your own boss, and then like the host comedian thing, and he's like, yeah, that is what a lot of people say, but what a lot of people don't realise is you're also your own bitch. I'm like, yep. You can't pass anything to anyone. I figured out my plan of attack for my microservice. I've just triggered out, I've like spread around all the events so that an event's being raised by the repository service, consumed by this service, which kicks off a command, stores a load of data in the domain, then sets off a Saga, which will then sit off. I assume that will be fine like in a multi-threaded kind of. Yeah, of course we'll. Don't be a dickhead. I was worrying there about order of events and maybe if I don't have the saga created in time, but it won't matter because it knows that it's sat waiting for it. It just needs to, as soon as the saga's initialized, it will pick it up and run with it, even if that could happen, which it probably wouldn't. So I have 2 sagas. I'm going to have a command handler that's going to deal with the commands that aren't saga based. And yeah, I've just got to store all of this data into the domain. There's not a lot of data to store, to be fair to it. And then we should be laughing. I'm doing it while, but basically I'm aiming to get as much of this done as possible today because I'm going to be on my laptop. Like I can do programming on my laptop, but there's other sets of programming. I've got loads of programming. I've always got loads to do. I don't know why I train myself to think that if I'm going away on my laptop or I only have access to my laptop for a day, that I have to be careful about, like I have to save work. Bollocks. It's all bollocks. I don't know why I do it, and all it does is reduce my level of productivity. It's not good. But the only jobs I need to do today that aren't work are I need to set up my. What's that car doing? There's literally just a car just sat in the middle of the road chilling. I need to pack my bags basically because we're going to be heading out early tomorrow morning, so it's going to be basically toiletries is all I can pack tomorrow. Because we're going to Nottingham, I've said that. And I might water Laura's plants because otherwise they might get a bit of I'm going to do all this at lunchtime. Water Laura's plants because otherwise they'll get a bit burnt during the day. And then I've got to head out at some point later to aim to get to Bath city centre by about 5:30, which is going to be fucking hellish. So fucking traffic in Bath is horrendous at the best of times. But yeah, so that way me and Laura are going to a theatre show tonight. It's a theatre show where they're projecting the first Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And in front of that, they're going to have an orchestra that's going to play the score for the movie, for the film. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be dope, actually. I'm hitting the challenges. Basically, the only difficult thing about what this microservice has to do is it's gluing together 2 different processes that two microservices have to be in a certain state and have their data replicated in this service so that it knows what to do. And I feel what do I do if you haven't yet set up a pipeline and it gets triggered? What happens if you have a pipeline but it's deactivated? What if you have an active pipeline that's out of date? Which is also possible. There's loads of different possibilities for what could and couldn't happen for this. There's just loads of status checks that I need to do at any given moment in time to make sure that what I'm doing is actually right. And I feel like it's really, what it's difficult to do is because all of these things are going to happen, it's difficult for me to figure out what I need to do, what I need to develop. Because in all of the scenarios where I'm trying to define the scope of the MVP, I could just be like, well, if I don't give you the functionality, then I don't have to fucking worry about it. But all these things that could happen, you have the functionality and or I'm integrating with something that has the functionality to do this. So I have to deal with it. Or do I have to deal with it? I'm playing with the idea of basically only triggering the snapshots, the candidates, only raising a candidate to be tested if you have an active pipeline at that point. And then once it's raised and you deactivate your pipeline, then it needs to know about it. And it's just, all I'm doing is moving the problem further away. And it's complicated because this is a distributed system that's running on distributed events, but this doesn't belong anywhere else. It belongs here. So it's really difficult for me to really nail down. So the problem I have is your repository is just going to be firing events at me. It is going to be just publishing any old event it wants. There's like a road cleaner. I was just wondering, there's a guy like kneeling down by my car and he's just brushing out all like the dust and debris on the road. I've never seen that before. Weird, he's just like putting it in a big wheelie bin. So, yeah, cool. I was like, what the fuck is this guy just kneeling down by my wheel? Is he taking my wheel off? Anyway, so like you can either have, like these events are going to be coming at me. What do I do if you haven't got a pipeline yet? What do I do if it's not active? What do I do if it's not complete? What do I do if it's out of date? These are all things that can happen. And like I say, these are just states. I can't control when or when not these states on here, unless I enforce that you have to, if you have a pipeline, it has to be complete, you know, like, which isn't an option. So, but I need to figure out a process flow for all of this. And I go through so much paper drawing and mapping all of this stuff out, it's unreal. Right, what I need to do is, I need to just rep this data into the databases. As soon as it's in the real database, we can manage the states. Because I was thinking about the idea of the sagas holding back messages until it's in a state where it can do it, and then it runs the messages. So effectively like flagging candidates of being like, I haven't processed this yet, but I can do. But then you've got to bake in logic about when all of this stuff can be run. Like when you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But if I rep all of this data into the database and then just raise all the events, and then the sagas that actually care, the saga that's like, oh, I'm actually going to run this now, that can then go, not the saga, the event. The event that goes, oh, okay, I'm actually going to trigger this now, that can go, oh no, I can't. You know? And like this makes sense. This makes a lot more sense, I think. What doesn't make sense is why you can make a pipeline inactive. Surely you just make this bit inactive instead. You turn this bit off. But no, that's on a candidate by candidate basis. Okay, right, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rep the data into the database. Just going to get the data out of the saga, kick off the next saga, and I'm going to use states of those sagas, which is what sagas are fucking for, to do all of this management, instead of trying to second guess what the next saga wants in this saga. Yeah, okay. I've got there. I'm getting there. All right. This is the hard thing about being on your own, is I've got no one else to talk to bounce this off. This wouldn't take me half as long if I could be like, yo mate, what do you reckon to this? You know? Well, I've literally spent 4 hours. Literally. Haven't got very far, code-wise, but I've squared it all out in my head. I've figured it out. I've put my whiteboard paper back up on the wall and then figured it out on paper instead. I'm now happy in the route that I'm going to go. I was trying to pack too much into the first saga, and into like, I was effectively just duplicating one saga into another, and that's not what I should do. What I should do is let this saga marshal the other saga, so that this saga is basically responsible for figuring out when something's happened that the next saga cares about. And then that next saga literally is designed to only run stuff. If you've fucking updated your pipeline, I don't give a shit, dog, until it works again, okay? And once I've started processing a candidate, you can't change it anyway. So that is, of course, a minor lie. Once you've started processing a snapshot, you can't change it. But anyway, so I figured it out. I've got like a process of raise that event, save some information, raise another event, create the saga. But the thing that raised the initial event has already raised the second event sometimes to the thingy. But then I can use the same event to then do updates when I need to. So I've got it down. I figured it out, boys. I figured it out. I seem to have a habit of like losing steam in the afternoon. I'm not very good at making the most of time before I've got to do something. That makes sense. I kind of stopped for lunch, made my bag, sorted out my suitcase and whatnot, and then just kind of was unproductive for a bit. Like, And it's now like I'm just having my cup of tea, 3 o'clock, my cup of tea, and I'm like, I don't think if I do any more work, it'll be productive. But it's annoying me because I know for a fact that the next couple of days aren't going to be productive either. So it's like, annoying. I'm not very good at that. And I need to get better at making the most of like every second of a day and not relying on huge chunks of time. But I am calling it a day. We're going to have a good weekend. We're going to have a good long weekend, actually. I'm going to water Laura's plants because I didn't do it earlier. I've sorted out, like I say, I've sorted out my bag. I'm kind of confused because Laura's half filled out one of her suitcases, like badly packed it with clothes. So in theory, like my stuff only fits in like a quarter of my suitcase. We're only going for a weekend. But like, you're going to put toiletries in, and Laura's doing more in Nottingham than I am. So I'm like, does she want me to put my stuff in her suitcase? Or not? I just don't know. I just don't know. I just do as I'm told. That's what I do. My phone just went off. I don't know where it is. There it is, boy. Is that Laura? Nope. Right, yeah, let's water some plants because it's been hot and they ain't gonna get watered. Hey, look at them plants have got little flowers on. I ain't seen that before. I'm even going as far as to shut this bad boy down. That's how far we're going. Right, yeah, I'll pack that as well. What did I come upstairs for? I came upstairs for my headphones while I water the plants. That's what I came upstairs for. All right, guys, found a parking space. A3-ish. Here's where I am, yeah? Second floor. Don't forget this. A14. That's where we are, boys. There we are. It's also the blue bit. Right, how do I get out? There you go. Lift A. Lift A. Easy. Hello, Bath. I've always got something to do with this city. I can't believe the queues that are set up for this fucking Apple store. It's ridiculous, man. Right, Laura's going to be here in about 10 minutes. We've got to find somewhere to eat. I need to do stuff like this more often, where I like let myself feel like I can switch off, you know? I feel like that's why I bully myself so much, because like the thing I used to do as a hobby is now a full-time thing, and I do it all the time, and it's all I think about. And then I like semi-burn out because I'm not thinking about anything else ever, you know? Mate, look how dope that is. That is dope here. So, I can't zoom in with you. You see this bootleg Instagram advert? The Instagram logo. What is that? What's that all about? That is trash. You know what, guys and girls, that was wicked. I genuinely loved that. It was so good. It was like a little, so basically like they played the main scores, but they weren't playing through the whole thing. They basically were, but every now and again it would just cut. They'd kind of end the pieces, and then there'd be like you know when there's things where there's like background music, but there's not really music, if that makes sense. That wasn't there because they'd cut all the music from the film, and it was just like, it seems really quiet. It seems really weird, but it was fucking brilliant. Loved it. So 100% can recommend if that comes anywhere near you. But we booked it ages ago and there's one showing. So yeah, maybe missed the like music and flute and stuff, to be honest with you. But it's late. It's very late. It's midnight. It's the next day, and we've got an early drive tomorrow, so I need to go to bed. We have found ourselves in Sheffield today, ladies and gentlemen. Drove back to Nottingham and drove straight up to Sheffield to hang out with Laura's sister, Laura's mum and Laura, and it's just little old me. Apparently we're not planning on getting back for about 5 hours. It takes an hour to get, so 4 hours in this shopping centre somehow. Gonna spend a lot of time in the Apple store and Curry's, just because why the heck not? You know what? I've had a pretty good day today. I ended up going to like I say, Meadowhall with, I've kind of come up, it's like Laura's birthday weekend, so I've kind of got to be like, she's come back to like hang out with some friends and like her family, and I'm like, I can't just stay in Bristol, but also likewise I don't really want to like intrude too much. It's a bit weird. It's a weird like setup we've got going on. So she was going with shopping with her family, and she was like, do you want to come, because otherwise you're going to just be sat in Nottingham on your own. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll come. So I go, she's gone out this evening with some girlfriends, and I'm like, I'm definitely not going to intrude on like girlfriend time. I'll intrude on family time. So I stayed home and had dinner with her family, and then I just went to the pub with James. Fucking great time. Haven't seen James in ages. We both did computing together back in A level. So back when we was doing the space program, space mission, 7 years ago. And then obviously we've seen each other on and off since then, but I haven't seen him in like years. We had a proper good catch up. He's a computing teacher now. So we had a really good chat. I was loving it at the pub. I've had one too many glasses of wine, so I now can't give Laura a lift if she wants to lift back from town. Hopefully she doesn't ask, so she never finds out about that. But yeah, so we've had a jolly good time in the pub, just drinking some red wine. And I've kind of felt like a bit of a spare part because I'm kind of here. I'm kind of in Nottingham because I feel like I can't leave. I can't just stay in Bristol on this weekend. But also equally, I'm not really doing anything with Laura. So it's like, I don't know why I'm here. So, but yeah, I didn't actually organise anything with any of like my friends, the boys, this week, because partially because part of me was like, I'm just going to do a load of work. Like, I know it's going to be unproductive anyway, so I'm going to do some work in the like evenings and stuff. And partially because I just kept putting it off because I thought they'd say no. And then today I was like, pub. And then James was like, yeah, all right. Pub. Hello, doggo. But tomorrow I think we're going for a coffee with Shaun boy. Shaun boy. So we'll see about that. It is going to be over Formula 1, which is kind of a fucking shame to be honest with you. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You never know. I didn't get to go see Shaun today. I woke up this morning with an absolutely like splitting headache. And then as I like started to get up, I'm like, I'm gonna be sick. And then I got up, went and like run my hands through cold water. I was roastingly hot. And I'm like, I'm gonna pass out. I managed to like have a shower and get dressed. Went downstairs and was like, I gotta go back to bed, man. And I went back to bed and slept for another like fucking 5 hours. That's an exaggeration. It was 3. My God, I felt so fucking ill. And I messaged as I was going back to bed. I'm like, messaged Shaun, like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, mate. I feel like I've got a migraine. But yeah, got up around half 12ish before Formula 1. I managed to get up, have some breakfast before Formula 1, and then watched Formula 1 in the living room. Laura and her mum are now asleep in the conservatory, and I'm gonna go on my laptop for a bit, I guess. And made it back to Bristol in one piece, ladies and gentlemen. Formula 1, watched Formula 1. It was alright. Wasn't too exciting. And then had some food and whatnot, and then just blasted down. Feeling much better after this morning. It was obviously just like it was really hot last night when I was in bed. And it was a combination of that. I went to bed with a bit of a headache and like not really drinking much throughout the day, and then adding some wine in, I think was just a storm in a teacup, you know. But yeah, back home, going to bed. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, is not much more productive than yesterday. We've had a lovely chilled out day today. We've not done much, if anything at all. We've just been chilling out, watching TV and relaxing, having basically like a duvet day. We watched some TV. I did some stuff on my laptop. Got in an argument with LG because we used to be able to Chromecast to our TV, and then we weren't able to. So I was like, I'll contact support and be like, yo, what's gone wrong with it? And it looks like they've taken the functionality away. And I'm like, I bought this TV because it could do that. And they're like, oh, well, it's nothing we can do about it. So I'm filing a complaint against them and then seeing if I could take it back to John Lewis, where I bought it from. So that's going to be fun. As far as I'm concerned, it's now faulty. So yeah, there's that. We just had a Chinese takeaway. Living the dream. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to put my Jimmer jams on. I'm going to watch Peaky Blinders from last night and then Gogglebox. Like I say, we just had a fucking chilled ass day today. It's been great. I was going to say that last night I woke up with a nosebleed at, it was about, I think it was like 3:45 in the morning. And I've never woken up so fast. So it was quite a good alarm. It was literally like, I sat there, I was lying there, and then within like half a second I just felt like blood trickle there, and it got it to there, and I was just like and then just stood up and like ran to it was fun. Yeah, I've had a lot of nosebleeds. I think, well, Laura's nursing a cold. I think I'm about to get it. And I don't think that helps because obviously the more I blow my nose, the more prone I am. Finished watching Peaky, very stressful. And then, yeah, so we've caught up on TV now. We didn't go shopping today, it's Monday. We didn't go shopping today, we'll go shopping next Monday. Sorry, next Monday, tomorrow. So it's going to really knock the week because tomorrow is going to feel like Monday. But back to work tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get a shitload of work done. We're going to be back on it. You watch. We've got busy 2 days ahead. So we need to... I've had a very unproductive last week, tail end of last week, and I can't afford to have another one. So we're going to make the most. Thanks for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will catch you